Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video. As you guys know from my previous video, I was just in Florida, and I thought I would make a video about 10 things that I learned in the process of this vacation, before, during, after, and just talk to you guys about some things that I learned along the way. Lesson number one is a lesson that I had to be reminded of, that I've learned a lot throughout my life, but I had to be reminded. And many of these are lessons that I needed to be reminded because I was not very positive at the time. So, lesson number one is never give up, be positive, and keep hope alive. Now, if you know me, I don't give up easy. I don't give up easy. I will find a way to do almost anything. But when you're looking at things through a lens that you know, and you're not looking outside of that, it's a little bit harder. Now, what I mean by this for this situation is I was going to be flying standby for my vacation, which I've always done. And day by day, as it got closer, all the flights were booking up. If an airport wasn't closing down flights, others were booking up. There was nothing I could see on my end. But my friend Louie reminded me to never give up. He went on his computer. There was nothing. He called a friend of his. Now, I consider also a friend of mine. Ended up going to Florida and coming home on a regular ticket. One seat on one flight, and I got it. If that is not a godsend, I don't know what is. Lesson number two. Plan B is giving up. As things started to look terrible, to put it lightly, for my standby flight, before I knew that I was going to be getting a regular ticket, before any of that, I was already giving up, checking out, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to dwell on this, because if I do, I will break down and be really upset, which I did a few times. So I tried to focus on next time. I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't meant to be, blah, blah, blah. I'll go next time. I even had a draft written for the day of the event that I was going to, the Now Matters More golf tournament, saying how I was sad that I wouldn't be there, but I would be there next year. That's how far in my head it got. But as soon as I started vocalizing that to my friend Louie, he said, Plan B's giving up. Don't put your attention on anything in the future. We're not giving up right now. You're going to make it this time. Okay. Still didn't know how, but I said okay. Number three is kind of an extension of number two. Words manifest. Watch your language. In the few moments that I allowed myself to still believe that I would be going down to Florida, I would do what Tony Robbins calls incantations. I'm so excited that I'm going to Florida. I'm so excited that I'm going to meet amazing people that I have known online for a long time, support a great cause, meet amazing new people. I would just go on and on and on about all of the amazing things that were going to happen. I didn't specify this time. I didn't say next time. I just said is. In the present moment, this is what is going to happen or is happening. In those small moments where I had the faith of smaller than a mustard seed, I think that played a small part. I think the faith of my friends had a bigger part, but I'm not going to discount those moments too, because something was leading me to not completely give up and just keep trying to manifest. Lesson number 4, which is, they're all important, but this one really is important. Borrow faith and invite prayer. I'm telling you, if I did not have the people telling me not to give up, because I had some people telling me, oh, it's okay, maybe next time. I did. But if I didn't have the people who wanted me there so badly and were willing to make it happen, come hell or high water, and really believed that I would be there. Because like I said, I was trying to believe, but a big part of me didn't. I had people praying. I had people getting me the plane ticket. I had the place that it was at help me secure the hotel. They secured the hotel. I mean, it really was, it's a big lesson for somebody who comes from the self-help world, from somebody who loves to be independent in a wheelchair, that you need people. No matter what, you need people. And if it's borrowing faith, if it's helping you along the way, you need people. We all do. And if the last couple of years in this world teach us anything, it's we need people. We need each other. Number 5 is an extension of number 4. Accept help. Ask and you shall receive. I don't like to ask for help, which is why I didn't see the solution that came coming, because I didn't know the person at the time that ended up making this happen. And asking for help when these people in this foundation helps people in pretty dire situations, life or death, who've helped me in so many ways, mentally and emotionally, over the years. I didn't want to ask anything more. And when you're put on the phone and it's like, okay, so I'm putting you on the phone three-way, and we're going to ask if there's anything that can be done to get you down here. Like I said before. Okay. Hey, hands off. That should be another one. I don't think I did hands off, let go of control. That should be another one. Lesson number 6. Sometimes things fall apart so something better can come together. Literally everything by day was falling apart with this trip. And it made me feel worse because I had a secure place to stay when I was down there. And it was just, no matter what I was planning, no matter what I was looking at, which normally would work for me in the past. When I would look up, well, when I would have my family member look up flights, if one wasn't working, we'd just go to the next one. But having a secure place to stay down there for a certain amount of days made that a little bit harder. A lot harder. Who am I kidding? It made it almost impossible to not be there when I had to be. You know, it was a very pressing situation in that way. And I was literally looking all over Florida because what was expressed to me was by everybody. My friends at the foundation, the resort that secured my hotel. It was, get down here, we'll figure the rest out. Okay. But every airport I looked at. No, no. Overbooked, canceled, blah, 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 whatever. It was all falling apart. What ended up happening was, well, let me just tell you. Okay, so the event was in Sorrento, Florida. I had my friends and the golf resort that it was at telling me, you know, even fly into Tampa if you have to, which we were looking at. That was the last airport we were looking at before I didn't see another way there. That's when I was like, okay, everything's booked. So what ended up happening is when I had secured the actual ticket, it was secured for me. It was at Daytona, which my friend is from South Florida, okay? Daytona is not. She just so happened to be pet and house sitting for her sister up by Daytona. And I'm not going to say the town that she's in, but real close. And just so happened again that her sister, my friend's sister, was flying in within an hour of when my flight ended up being. Again, if that's not God orchestrated, I don't know what is. That is bizarre to me. The one seat on the one flight that ended up making it happen. Nuts, right? Independence is possible, but not ideal. You're not meant to do life alone. None of us are. Without every single person along this journey with me, it wouldn't have happened. If one person had done something different along the way, any one person, it would not have happened exactly how it did, exactly how it was meant to happen. I'm completely convinced. Lesson number 8. I can handle anything life throws at me. Yeah. I've been through some pretty stressful situations. This was just another reminder of how strong I am when it comes down to it, even when I don't feel like I am. And again, going back to sometimes I don't have to be. I can borrow the strength of the people around me, and in turn that will make me strong. Lesson number 9. This one's gonna make me cry. There are genuinely good people in this world. The news, the media, they want you to turn against each other. Don't do it. There are people you've never met who would bend over backwards for you. Maybe in their situation, I don't ever want to use the word privileged, but maybe they're blessed and it's not a big deal to them. Or maybe it's not a big deal to them because they love to give, and you're robbing them of not giving if you don't accept it. But whatever the case, there are really good people in this world. And I'm so grateful for all. Number 10. I was going to do 11, but I can combine the last 2. Everything happens for a reason. Breathe. Let go and let God. You might not see the reason that something's happening. you might think that it really sucks in the moment. You might not see the good that come out of it. I didn't. Okay, at one point, like 2, maybe 1 day before I was supposed to fly out, in the Tampa flight, I called my aunt that morning, or she called me. Yes, that's the person that I know. I know maybe you're not supposed to tell, but that's the person that I know who puts me on standby. So she tells me she listed me, which apparently means nothing when the airlines decide they're going to do whatever they want to do. So I was like, okay. And then she said she was going to just check the flights to make sure that night. And that's when she told me, stop packing. It's overbooked because they canceled the other airport. They canceled flights at the other airport, and I think they shut them down or whatever. Yeah. That would be when the meltdown started. And that would be when I had to let go and let God. And that would be a few hours until I said, you know what? Okay, maybe next year. And that's when I wrote the draft of, everybody, I hope you're having fun at the event, and I'll see you next year. All of that, all of this happened within like a span of 48 hours, maybe less. Because you have to book late for standby. So all of this was going on, including the receiving on my end of the real ticket. All of it happened really quick. But I didn't see the reason that all of this was happening. I didn't know I would end up at an airport close to my friend, who my friend ended up coming with me and enjoying the event because it's for a cause that's personal to her. I don't know if I mentioned, but it's for the Now Matters More Foundation, which helps people who are struggling with addiction and their families get the resources that they need and the help that they need. So it's a cause, as you guys know, because I lost my brother to suicide after a long addiction 6 years ago. But it's a cause that's close to her heart too. She's amazing at volunteering. She's up to volunteer for almost anything. And this was the first time her and I actually got to meet in person. So it could not have happened better. And like I said before, if anything happened different, it wouldn't have happened at all. So everything does happen for a reason. Sometimes you just have to let go of control and let God take over control. Which, despite how amazing this turned out, is probably a lesson that I still haven't mastered. 35 years of trying to micromanage and control. It's a little hard to let go. But honestly, more blessed than I could ever tell you at how this turned out. When I let go of control and borrowed faith and allowed myself to receive this amazing gift of getting to be with these amazing people, and the person who ended up getting my ticket was there. So it really meant a lot to me to be able to thank him, give him a hug, thank him again and again and again. You know, it was just overall one of the best experiences in my life, and I'm already trying to plan going back because I don't want to leave anything to the last minute again. And yeah, so that is what I learned on my Florida trip. And no, this is not the first time actually that I flew alone. And by the way, I completely went over accepting help. I was listed as a wheelchair assist in the airports, which from my experience is better than when you go with family or friends. Because when you're with family or friends and you're in a wheelchair, the people who work at the airports assume that they have it under control, that the people that are with you. So they won't even bat an eye. They could be struggling with the luggage, pushing you, won't even care. If you're alone, it's like, oh my God, this person in a wheelchair is by themselves. Like, let's help them. And if you're carrying luggage and, I had a carry-on and a suitcase that I also stored in as a carry-on. So I had 2 bags plus the wheelchair and myself. The staff was amazing at all the airports. One even took me to the bathroom at the other end of where my gate would be because I had over an hour layover at one of the airports. And he took me to the bathroom. He waited outside. This was also my first time ever flying with a layover. I don't know what crazy stuff's going on with the airports, but I've never flown layover in my life until now, there and back. And it wasn't bad. It was fine. But yeah, I guess there's more lessons as I reflect on this amazing experience. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So if you're watching this and you're in a wheelchair and the only thing you get out of it is the help that you will get flying alone, go ahead. Giving people with disabilities the freedom, but also knowing that there is help out there, is one of my main missions in life. So, you're welcome. Oh, one more thing. Where is it? If you or a loved one is struggling with the disease of addiction, get this book. I'm only about almost halfway through. It's amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I met the main author, Jack Allen Levine, and not just because of Louis Delgado and Trinity Phillips, who are my very good friends who run the Now Matters More Foundation, and they're both in this book. And a couple of other people who were down at the event are in this book as well, and it's amazing. But it is so helpful whether you are struggling with addiction, whether you're in recovery, whether you have a loved one who is struggling, whether you have a loved one who is in recovery or struggling or whatever I said, or even if, unfortunately, like me, you lost somebody either to addiction or to something mental health related that coincides with addiction in any loose or tight way. My brother took his life to suicide. It wasn't, an overdose of any kind, but he did have a long stint of addiction, and this book is amazing, so I would highly recommend it. I will put the link to the Amazon link to this in the description. Please pick it up, and I will talk to you guys next time. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, this video is pretty long. If you are the loved one of an addict, I am thinking of starting a book club of this, but you have to get the book because I'm not going to be reading it. So I'm just going to be going over the chapters and going over, different discussion points or whatever comes up in the meetings. And I'm really trying to put together something for the loved ones of addicts that's more educational, because I feel like, and maybe I haven't gone to enough of them, but N.A. and Al-Anon, I don't feel enough education coming from them. They have their place. They're great. I'm not saying they're not. They're good to go to, and I feel like there's a need for somebody to host meetings and bring in things to educate us, whether that's on the addiction, on mental health, or on different things about what's going on with us while we're struggling with somebody else's addiction and what we could do, you know. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know, and I will then see if I can put something together. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Please subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, please share it if you find it helpful. Share it privately with somebody that you know if you have to, and I will talk to you guys later.